Okay, hi everybody, it's me again. Um, Another anime series. Now, I was taking a look at the summer. I did not know they were doing this with Bleach. And it's not coming out to the end of the month. Not until July 25th. Um, that's not beside the point of this review. Um, Knowing this, I'm gonna take a long, hard look at the lineups for the summer animes. See if I can review something. I'll take a look and see and let you guys know. Anyway, moving on. This show. This one is kind of in the same ballpark as Warrior Princess and Barbarian King. However, I am going to go against logic here and give this a higher rating. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. Of course, I am talking about Killed Again, Mr. Detective. Now, premise is as follows. I actually talked about the premise of the last series I reviewed. So, Sakuya Utsuki is the son of a legendary detective, working to follow in his father's footsteps with his assistant, Lithia. However, something's different about the high school sleuth. Whenever he goes, wherever he goes, he always manages to get himself entangled in cases as a murder victim. When Sakuya is tasked to infiltrate a luxury cruise ship, he finds himself killed once again. But every time he reopens his eyes, Thea is there by his side, ready to help him get to the bottom of the mystery. Now, there was another series. Now, I took a look at the reviews. A lot of people don't like the series. Because the thing is, unlike other detective shows like Moriarty and Patriot, and there's a few others I was watching that had to do with detective work. And what's funny, most of these animes I've noticed have to do with Sherlock Holmes. I don't know why, but go figure. But unlike those series, the problem is this series is not a detective show. The genre for this series is supernatural. Hence, now, the reason why I'm giving this the grain of salt is it's not Sherlock Holmes, it's not Moriarty, it's not any of that crap, and it's its own thing. Now, I remember there was another series, I believe, with a detective dying and everything. The detective is dead, which I think is coming out with the second season. Now, that's when I first saw this. It was kind of in the same ballpark, but it isn't. Literally, that's what happens. He dies and he comes back to life. Now, around the series as a whole, of him dying and come back to life, there's the whole spiel with his father. His father, Sakuya's father, arrested the 7 criminals known as the 7 Old Men. They're not old men. We get the identity of, like, I think 4 of them? 4 or 5. Now, most of them are little girls. We get introduced to one who is prevalent during the series. Like, Sakuya meets her, and then she comes back. There's another one who we find out where 3 others we find out about at the end of the series. At the very end of episode 12. So that's like 4. And then a 5th one, who I believe was there, is pretending to be somebody else and it's not, But there's like 4 or 5 that were introduced. Now, the whole spiel is that his father tried to put these guys away. They're coming out for his revenge for him. And this is all circling around the fact that Sakuya is immortal. He can't die. Or, it should be said, he dies and comes back to life. So this is very... I'm being... I'm giving it a little leeway. Sorry. A little leeway. Because it's not like your typical detective series. Now, the case for this series, the different cases he solves, the one that is very important is the one at the end of the season, which has to do with the Gallery Island, where he encounters one of the old men who comes back, this little girl who attacks them. And he gets told by her about how the secret of his immortality is being sought out by other people. This is like the only spot I will say about the series. So that's the whole spiel. Now, honestly, I can see how people say no. Drop the series, which is understandable. I, however, am not doing that. The series does, okay, it does drag a bit. It does drag a bit. Like, how does he come back to life? It doesn't explain. There's no explanation. Well, yes, if you watch the whole series, you kind of get an explanation, but it's not the explanation you want. It's an explanation going to a different area. But, regardless, the facts are that this is planting seeds. And if it gets a season 2, and it probably will, I think this will probably get a season 2. If I bet my money on it. Hopefully. So, if it does, I would probably check out. I'm giving it an 8 out of 10, though. Because I do like the premise of detective side. Yeah, he's a detective. He solves crimes. But the whole immortal thing and these old men and his father, that's the intrigue of the series. Especially when you take a look and you really examine episode 12. So, I say if you want a good series, if you want a really good detective show, this is not for you. If you want a good detective show, go watch Morality, The Patriot. Go watch. There's like a bunch of other shows. I can't name them on the top of my head, but I know there's a bunch of other detective shows, animes that were like a million times better. Had to do with supernatural. Had to do with this. Had to do with that. A million times better. Than the series. But if you want to see and continue seeing this mystery get unraveled about his immortality and everything, I say stick around. But I'm giving it an 8 out of 10 only because I want to see more. And if they show more and it's not good, then I probably would lower my grade. But for this one, I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. Yeah. So, like I said before, I didn't know about Bleach. It's coming out until the end of the month. It's kind of a bummer. July 25th. So, I'm going to see if I can review something on Fridays or Saturdays. That's what I'm going to do. Now, unfortunately, they're also coming out with a Ghost in the Shell series, But that also is not coming out on Fridays and Saturdays. So I'll have to figure something out. Right now, as far as series I might try to look at, maybe I might review the second season of Knights of Skeleton Knight. Maybe one of the other fantasy series that came out, I might try to take a whack at. But we shall see. This is Vodka 922. I'll see you guys later. Kill him again, Mr. Detective. Immortal. It's kind of a weird concept, but I'm going to continue watching it. I'll see you guys later. Peace.